Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Punjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astotarasata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astotarasata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Prem Shikaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Nugoloka Dham ki jai, Sankirtan Jagat ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Book Distribution ki jai, Prashadam Distribution ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Shrimati Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Krishna Krishna Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namo Namaste Saraswati Gauranga Prasad. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 60, verse 54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayishu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikim. Okay. Dishtya Griyeshvari Asakrin Mayi Twaya Kritanuvritir Bhava Mochani Kalai Sudushkarasa Sutaram Durashisho I Asumbaraya Nikritim Jusa Striyaha Dishcha Griyeshvari Ashakrin Mayitvaya Kritanuvritir Bhava Mochani Kalai Sudushkarasa Sutaram Durashisho Yasumbaraya Nikritim Jusastriyaha. Please chant. There is an ant on the book. Please chant. There is an ant on the book. Nivritir Bhava Mochani Kalai. Suduskarasa Sutaram Durashisho. Yasumparaya Nikritir Jusastriya. Medicine Tamani, no? Okay. Disyagriya Sevariya Sakrin Mai Twaya. Nuvritir Bhava Mochani Kalai. Suduskarasa Sutaram Durashisho. Yasumbaraya Nikritim Jusastriyaha. Dishtya, fortunately, Griya of the house, Ishvari, O mistress, Asakrit, constantly, Mai, to me, Twaya, by you, Krita, done, Anuvriti, faithful service, Bhava, from material existence, Mochani, which give liberation, Kalai, for those who are envious, Suduskara, very difficult to do. Asar, it. Sutaram, especially. Durashisha, whose intentions are wicked. He, indeed, assume her life here. Baraya, who only maintains. Nikritim, deception. Jusaha, who indulges in. Sriyaha, for a woman. Fortunately, O mistress of the house, you have already rendered me faithful devotional service, which liberates one from material existence. This service is very difficult for the envious to perform, especially for a woman whose intentions are wicked, who lives only to gratify her bodily demands, and who indulges in duplicity. Please repeat. Fortunately, O mistress of the house, you have always rendered me faithful devotional service, which liberates one from material existence. This service is very difficult for the envious to perform, especially for a woman whose intentions are wicked, who lives only to gratify her bodily demands, and who indulges in duplicity. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Jiva Goswami poses the following question. Since devotional service easily awards one liberation, isn't it possible that everyone will be liberated and the world will no longer exist? The great Acharya answers that there is no such danger, since it is very difficult for envious, duplicitous, sensuous person to faithfully serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there is no shortage of such people in the world. Om Agyanat Mirandasya, Gyanam Gyana Salakaya, Chakshur Unmilitam Gyenat, Chak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlights of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, yesterday, when I got that verse, I called my husband and he said, good luck. He said it's a sensitive subject. He said when he was a young brahmachari, he he was preaching to a young girl that was coming. And she was asking him questions, and she wrote a letter, and he was in charge of answering the letter. And she was asking about men and women, the position of women. And he said, the way that I answer it, I never saw her again. So he said it's a very sensitive. But you know, I've been reading in the Bhagavad Gita. One thing that I want to say first, the first thing I really want to say is, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, thank you, Srila Prabhupada. And I love you, Srila Prabhupada, for all that you have given us. Because, and the beautiful thing is that Srila Prabhupada once said, if you love me, I will love you. And his love is unlimited and completely pure and brings us to Krishna. And it's the reason that I'm saying so much thank you is because I was looking at myself, you know, when we read verses, we think, how does that apply to me? And I was thinking, sensuous, duplicitous, wicked. And I was thinking, duplicitous and wicked, not too bad. But sensuous, I remember so much. Actually, that's how come I accepted Srila Prabhupada in my life, is that I was working in a health food store, vegetarian health food store. And I was a teenager. And my senses, I wanted to eat all the time. It was very painful, you know, so painful, because probably my doshas were out of whack, you know. But I didn't know anything about it at that time. But it was such a slavery, you know, to follow my tongue. It was like miserable. And when I read the little pamphlet on chanting Hare Krishna, even though I didn't speak English very well, but I did understand, and the effect that it had on me, immediately all my senses calmed down. And that's actually the proof. I mean, to me, I understood this is my spiritual master because he can help me to go a higher platform than just this bodily platform, because women's bodies are not maybe the back, okay, maybe for now. I don't know why, it went to bed. So women's bodies are difficult, but since I got married, I also realized that men's bodies are difficult too. Everybody's body is difficult. There's different problems, you know. And I was thinking about duplicitous. Well, Putana really wins the prize on that one. And then sensuous, Prabhupada, the wonderful thing is that all of us came here because we want to enjoy. And we were given, an apparatus to enjoy, and it's always very frustrating. And so, but Srila Prabhupada has brought this wonderful, wonderful system given by the Parampara of how to engage those venomous snake senses in Krishna's service. And then Krishna becomes satisfied, even though we are serving imperfectly, but even though we're doing whatever, never we can do anything perfect. You know, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in every endeavor there is some fault. But still, by the endeavor to engage our senses in Krishna's service, our senses become peaceful and satisfied. And that's such a great gift because nobody can get above that. And as far as being wicked, I think and envious, Shishupal wins the prize. I mean, I can't imagine somebody much more envious than Shishupal. And I listened to 2 classes yesterday on that verse. Because there is a site, you know, Srimad Bhagavatam classes. And one was in Alachua by Kosha, I don't remember her name now. Kosha something. Because I didn't know her. But I was so impressed with the class. It was, I was actually so impressed. Kosha Rupa, that's it. Kosha Rupa. And she is a Prabhupada disciple, and she I didn't know at the time. I was just listening to the class, and I thought, wow, this is so wonderful. And I could see she was like a flower that fully bloomed, you know? It's like she was so joyful and grateful and understanding very clearly. After that, I went on Google and checked Kosharupa. And she is the author of that book, that wonderful book about Dhruva Maharaj, that children's book. She wrote so many children's books, and they are very beautiful. And she's really the manifestation of engaging her talents in Krishna's service. It's very beautiful, very encouraging to see that. And I've been reading about the Bhumi Gita. Maybe I should have started with the bad news before I go to the good news, but that's the bad news here. It's actually quite interesting because it shows us where we are at. It's Mother Bhumi is saying, because of the bad qualities of the age of Kali, human beings will become short-sighted, unfortunate, gluttonous, lustful, and poverty-stricken. The woman, becoming unchaste, will freely wander from one man to the next. Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of deities. Political leaders will virtually consume the citizens. And the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies and genitals. The brahmacharis will fail to execute their vows and become generally unclean. The householders will become beggars, the vanaprasthas will live in the villages, and the sannyasis will become greedy for wealth. Women will become much smaller in size, and they will eat too much, have more children than they can properly take care of, and lose all shyness. They will always speak harshly and will exhibit qualities of thievery, deceit, and unrestrained audacities. Businessmen will engage in petty commerce and earn their money by cheating. Even when there is no emergency, people will consider any degraded occupation quite acceptable. Servants will abandon their master who are lost his wealth, even if that master is a saintly person of exemplary character. Masters will abandon an incapacitated servant, even if that servant has been in the family for generations. Cows will be abandoned or killed when they stop giving milk. In Kali Yuga, men will be wretched and controlled by women. They will reject their fathers, brothers, other relatives, and friends, and will instead associate with the sisters and brothers of their wives. Thus, their conception of friendship will be based exclusively on sexual ties. Uncultured men will accept charity on behalf of the Lord and will earn their livelihood by making a show of austerity and wearing a mendicant's dress. Those who know nothing about religion will mount a high seat and presume to speak on religious principles. In the age of Kali, people's mind will always be agitated. They'll become emaciated by famine and taxation, my dear king, and will always be disturbed by fear of drought. They will lack adequate clothing, food, and drink, will be unable to properly rest, have sex, or bathe themselves, and will have no ornaments to decorate their bodies. In fact, the people of Kali Yuga will gradually come to appear like ghostly, haunted creatures. In Kali Yuga, men will develop hatred for each other even over a few coins. Giving up all friendly relations, they will be ready to lose their own lives and kill even their own relatives. Men will no longer protect their elderly parents, their children, or their respectable wives. Thoroughly degraded, they will care only to satisfy their own bellies and genitals. O king, in the age of Kali, people's intelligence will be diverted by atheism, and they will almost never offer sacrifice to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme spiritual master of the universe. Although the great personalities who control the three worlds all bow down to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the petty and miserable human beings of this age will not do so. This is interesting. Terrified, about to die, a man collapses on his bed, although his voice is faltering, and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying. If he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reactions of his fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. In the Kali Yuga, objects, places, and individual personalities are all polluted. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, however, can remove all such contamination from the life of one who fixes the Lord within his mind. If a person hears about, glorifies, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord, who is situated within the heart, the Lord will remove from his mind the contamination accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes. Just as fire applied to gold removes any discoloration caused by traces of other metals, Lord Vishnu within the heart purifies the mind of the yogis by engaging in... Okay, so that's what I wanted to read here. So there is, Srila Prabhupada has given us this great facility. And I listened to another class about this verse. It was in Tirupati. And the devotee's name was Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhu. And he was saying something very interesting. He said it's very important, like Srila Prabhupada has given us so much, a perfect process and a facility to be happy in Krishna consciousness. To, the devotees that dress the deities, it's a sensual experience. It's a festival for the eyes. The flowers smells like, especially now the hyacinth smells like heaven. And everything about it is so joyful. So we're being given all that. And if we adhere to it in a grateful way and not taking it for granted, then Krishna very mercifully will keep giving what, he has provided because he loves us. And he wants to bring us back to him. So he'll make all facilities. But if we start taking it for granted and are not grateful, then he'll help us to become grateful by just removing some of it. And then we will anchor. But might as well remain grateful and humble and joyful to serve. Because we have all, if we living in the Kali Yuga, these bad qualities are pervading everywhere. And by associating with the people, that they're struggling they are trying to get good qualities, but many of them are duplicitous. So many people on Sankirtan tell me, yes, I'm going to give you a donation. They get on their phone and they look like they're giving me a donation. And at the end, I don't see it. That's duplicitous. But, they want to appear very good, And it's sad, It's sad. But anyway, they get the holy name. And there is hope. There is hope for everyone. Because Lord Chaitanya has come. And he has brought us the holy name. And giving us a way to progress. So if there is no question on that verse, I'll go to the next verse. Is there any question or comments on this verse? No. Okay. So I'll read 55. Natva drishim pranayinim grihinim griyeshu pashyami mani niyayasva vivahakali praptan ripanna viganaya raho haro mi prishta pito dvija upashruta sat katashya. In all my palaces, I can find no other wife as loving as you, O my respectful one. When you were to be married, you disregarded all the kings who had assembled to seek your hand, and simply because you had heard authentic accounts concerning me, you sent a brahmana to me with your confidential message. This is so nice. It's about Rukmini. And Krishna is so pleased with her because she chose him and she never thought about anybody else. And she was a very brave girl. Actually, the class from Kosharupa, on the previous verse, she was saying that she came from Laguna Beach. And she was saying that she actually came in contact with Krishna consciousness when she was 11 years old. She went into a store and there was some incense of, what's that name? The spiritual sky incense. And there was a beautiful picture of Krishna. And she became so enthralled. I mean, they were already vegetarian even. And she knew, she was asking very deep questions for her age and all that. She was very intelligent. She still is. And she went, Los Angeles is not far from Laguna Beach. So at the age of 15, the devotees, she started going to the temple. She had been chanting for about a year, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Krishna book. And she saw for the first time Rukmini Dwarkadish. And she prayed to Rukmini. And then, by the mercy of Rukmini, the pujari took a flower from the bouquet of Rukmini and gave it to her. And actually her life was blessed by Srimati Rukmini Devi. We can ask, our lives are blessed by the deities, and especially it was Rukmini who actually blessed her, and her husband is actually very nice also. He's doing such nice service for Srila Prabhupada. He's doing some kind of research on Srila Prabhupada's music, his transcendental music, and how it affects the heart. So it's very beautiful, actually, the way they serve. So the original Rukmini, she is very loving, very faithful to Krishna. And the only unhappiness she felt is when Krishna was saying, I'm not qualified for you, and you should have married somebody else. That really blew her mind and made her very sad. But then she refuted all the words, and she actually turned it into glorification of Krishna, and with a lot of love. And then Krishna is really accepting and appreciating that love. And it's very beautiful. Anything else? I can keep on going to the next verse. Yeah? Okay. Verse 56. Bratur virupa karanam yudi nirjatasya prodvara parvani satad vadam akshagosyam dukam samutam asashosmad ayoga bitya neva bravi kimapite navayam jitaste. When your brother, who had been defeated in battle and then disfigured, was later killed during a gambling match on Aniruddha's wedding day, you felt unbearable grief, yet out of fear of losing me, you spoke not a word. By this silence, you have conquered me. 4. Here, Lord Krishna refers to an event that will be described in the next chapter. Thus, Krishna talks with Rukmini must have taken place after the marriage of Aniruddha. Yeah, that was an intense thing. That Rukmi, he was such a rascal. He wanted to marry his beautiful sister, very well-qualified sister who was already in love with Krishna, wanted to marry her to Shishupala. That would have been such a disaster for Rukmini. And Rukmini was very kind to him still. And then when Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, then Rukmini went after them. And then fighting, and then Rukmini fell at the feet of Krishna, and eventually, when Krishna was about to take care of Rukmini. And she said, please don't kill him, have mercy on him. he did. Krishna was so kind. He did have mercy on him, but he disfigured him some. And that was good because Rukmi was so proud. So he could manifested all the demoniac qualities. So Krishna, he gives lessons, you know. He still loves Rukmi, but the love that he has to give him is like, you know, a way of becoming more humble and, you know, he was helping him to realize that actually you are my servant. Don't try to be my master. It's not going to work. And Rukmi was very stubborn about it. Like demons are very stubborn about that point. They go this way, that way, but always try to oppose Krishna. And then later on, Rukmi did live, and then there was the gambling match in which he was cheating with Balaram, and they were playing chess, and Rukmi actually in the beginning was winning, but then they were putting more and more gold coins, and when there was I think 100,000 gold coins, if I'm not mistaken, then Balaram won. But Rukmi denied it. You know, it's like he fight until the end, you know. And then, I think that's the story. I mean, if I'm mistaken, let me know. But I think that's the story that there was a voice from the sky saying, Balaram won, you know. And Rukmi was still arguing and arguing. So that's at that time that he lost his life, right? With Balaram, with his club. And that was, you know, for Rukmini, I mean, that was her brother, you know. So even though he had, I'm sure that when they were growing up, because of the qualities of Rukmi and the qualities of Rukmini, they must not have gotten along all the time. Because, you know, he put a devotee and a great demon and a great devotee together, it's bound to clash. But still, because Rukmini is a magnanimous, merciful, she has wonderful, wonderful qualities, she was still kind to him. And Krishna was still kind to him, and Balaram was still kind to him, because Rukmi needed, I mean, to be killed by Balaram is a good thing. You go back to Godhead, you know. I mean, he was a significant demon, and, you know, insignificant demons are taken care of by Mother Durga. But he was a significant demon, so he got the mercy of Lord Balaram. And that's the kind of mercy that he was calling for. He was crying out for that. And I don't, personally, I don't like that kind of mercy. I'm sorry? Oh, I read 54, 55, 56. Yeah, 55 had no purport. So I read 54, where there was a purport, then I read 55, and then I read 56. Yeah, that's why I'm at Rukmi now. Okay, now there is only, well, maybe I can read the next verse, unless there is some questions or comment. Yes. Well, what Krishna says is because she was afraid of losing him. I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know why would she, because her mood is not like Srimati Radharani. Her mood is very submissive. And she won Krishna by her submissive mood. And to change into a controversial mood with him, that didn't fit with her bhava. So yeah, that's a good point. You know, Krishna was, okay, so I'll say it for the devotees that are listening online. Krishna was satisfied that Rukmi passed away because he deserved it and it was a good thing for him. So she didn't want to make it would have been rasabasa, right? To make him sad. It would have been, and it's not her mood. Her mood is always, how can I make Krishna happy? That's her obsession. So then she thought, might as well not say anything. And I'm sure she understood that it was good for Rukmi. You know, she has transcendental knowledge. She knew it was good for Rukmi, so she kept quiet. But Krishna, in his kindness, is saying, well, he's just he's just really kind and affectionate to her. He said, he glorifies her for not saying anything because it was her brother. That's his kindness. And she was appreciating that too. Should I read the next verse? I think so. There is 3 minutes, and that will probably... Unless somebody wants to say something? Yeah, I did read it, I think. Okay. I think I read it. Which verse are you? When your brother... I read it. I just finished reading it. Okay. The next one would be 57, but now there is 2 minutes left. So, if I can just remember something else, it was interesting to see that verse spoken yesterday. The class was given by Kosharupa, who is in feminine form, and Vedanta Chaitanya, who in a masculine form. And the psychology was very interesting. It was different ways of seeing it. And he did say, and I did agree, he said the disadvantages to be in woman's body, because it was in the verse 54, is that women think more about their bodies. And that's a fact, especially women in Kali Yuga. But we are being given the process of deity worship. And by being engaged in trying to satisfy Krishna's senses, then everything is dovetailed. And the soul becomes satisfied, the senses become peaceful, and it becomes like they can actually, Srila Prabhupada gave his woman disciple in the beginning, they took charge of the deities. He sent the men on Sankirtan a lot more, and he gave the deities for the woman to worship, and that helped. And to this day, I mean, they knew how to take care of Krishna. It was natural for the woman to take care of Krishna nicely. It's natural for Mother Jasoda to take care of all of the desires, and Nanda Maharaj has a different role. So that was interesting to see. How Krishna, Srila Prabhupada gave us perfection, the hope for perfection. We'll get there by following his instruction and by being very grateful. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvanta Maravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Akom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Gaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nanda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe. Jai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Shinitai Gauranga ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री गदाधर शिवासती गौरतुंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय गौर निताई की जय श्री श्री राधा गोलोकानंद की जय गौर प्रेमनंदी हरि all glories to Sambhaloris, all glories to Sambhaloris, all glories to Sambhaloris, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chetodarpan marjanam bhavmadava gani nirvapanam shirakeva chandrika vritranam vidyavadu jivanam Ananta buddhi vardhanam pratipadam puranamrita swadanam sarvatmana sanarpam parvam vijete Shri Krishna sankirtanam nam nam akari bahuda nij sarva shakti trata pita nimate samarena kala itadishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durudeva maitrasham idanina anuraga Taranapi sunichena tarorapi sahusyana amanena manadena kirtanaya sadari na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagdish kame mama janmani janmani shve bhaktar bhakti hetukuitavai ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishme marambadu Kripaye tava pad pankaja stita dhuli sadam chintaya nayanam galam asrudharaya vadnam gadgada rudaya gira pulkir nichtam bapu kada tavanam grahane bhavishyati yugayitam nimishena chakshisa pravasayitam sunyayitam jagat sarvam govindaya varane me ashirshva padam ratam panashtumam Adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadatu lampato mataprananata tu sa evana praha. Victory to this kirtan movement which cleans the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguish the fire of conditioned life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity as large because it spreads the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, consolation chanting of your holy name can all the benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate, but I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of all prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your servant here, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. And I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so if he handles me roughly by his grace, or makes me broken-hearted, not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditionally. Skastam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.